Hey, is the bottom in for drip? I've been checking out the chart. You guys seen the chart today? We're going to talk about that. I also want to talk about the drip scratchies, the NFTs, and something to think about if you're new to drip. So let's just dive right in. Hey folks, welcome back to Beach Office 365, where I bring you the latest and greatest in crypto, DeFi, and passive income. If you like the content, please, if you could, hit that like button. Really does help with the algorithm and getting this video out to more people that might be interested in drip. So if you're bullish on drip, hit that like button. Also, you guys know I love the comments. Please leave the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the content. Let me know if you have any feedback on what you'd like to see more of in terms of what I cover. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Today has been a kind of a fun and refreshing day to see the drip chart and to see a little bit of a curl happening here. Maybe a turnaround, maybe this is the bounce, the floor might be in. Quick shout out to Stunner Breezy. I don't know if you saw his video today, but he talked about the reservoir, which is something that a lot of us have been talking about. Clearly, with the amount of drip supply that is out there and the price being where it's at, is an indication that the reservoir is helping to provide a floor for drip. And more people are depositing money into the reservoir, which I need to do a whole other video on. I don't want to talk about that. I want to take a look at some things. Let's take a look at the chart. I also want to talk about the scratchies. So let me just share my screen here. And this is a beautiful thing. I'm happy. I'm liking what I'm seeing. This is definitely a little bit of a reversal here. We got some good amount of volume came in, which is really looking good. And I think that certainly with some of the announcements that are in the pipeline, along with the success of the piggy bank relaunching, we're seeing a nice little turn of events here. I think it still is early. I don't want to get too excited. I think that there, to keep in mind, and something again when we talk about emotions and things like that, what could potentially affect this would be certainly if there's any delays with anything in the pipeline, right? Any issues that happen with getting the dogs migrated over, stuff like that. So just, be prepared that I'm excited. I don't want to sound like I'm not. I mean, I think this is huge. But I just, in terms of making sure we're staying grounded in the fact that the markets are pretty bad right now, and BNB obviously is something that when that goes down, it does affect the price of drip. And then we got Forex, who is a genius, coming out with the most innovative things in crypto, but he's not that great when it comes to deadlines and things like that. So in case there's any hiccups along the way, that could potentially affect the price. But I am really loving the way things are looking right now. This is certainly a refreshing and a change of pace at what we have been looking at for a while now. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the scratch tickets. It's been something that people are touting as going to be the most bullish thing for drip, and I'm sure it is, right? Or at least my mind was kind of like, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great, but I haven't really given it as much, I think, attention as it deserves. And I was looking at something. I myself am not a big scratch lottery type of person. I mean, occasionally it's fun to do on a road trip, right? Or something that you get to put in, as a gift for someone, or throw it in Christmas stockings, or something like that. But then I was looking at something, and I was looking up how much people in the United States are spending a year in lottery tickets. And I found a lot of different numbers, but they all were kind of in this ballpark that we're looking at $80 billion every year. And that's with a B. I had to I looked up a bunch of different, sites, and it was all in this kind of range. I was blown away. And by the way, this is 2021. I was blown away with this amount. What I think is interesting is that clearly, like, there is a huge market for the lottery, for scratch tickets, because it is a way of like instant gratification, right? And clearly, it is something that has been around since before I was born, and it continues to be this growing and massive thing that people are just sinking money into it. And when you think about like scratch tickets, what innovations have been there for scratch tickets? I mean, it's still like this like piece of paper that you go into a sleazy gas station and buy, and then take a quarter and rub everything off. Like, I mean, there hasn't, that's been the same thing as it's been since I was a little kid. Like, nothing has changed. You know, and when you think about like with all the technology, right, and all the advancements that are happening and the new ways at which we are utilizing things, you know, back when I was younger, when you buy music, you know, you go into a store and you buy like a cassette or a CD. Before that, of course, it was 8-tracks and records, right? And it was this thing that you hold on to. You know, now, you know what I mean? Like, you download it right onto something, and you play. Like, I always laugh at the thought of like, imagine myself if someone told me back when I was, you know what I mean, like 17, 18, coming out of Tower Records, like, hey, in the future, you're not going to have to go into a place to buy your music, right? I'd be like, well, where am I going to go to get it? They're like, oh no, it's going to be like floating around in the air, you know, in the cloud. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Right? And so there's just a lot of things now that have gone into like physical form to being completely online. You know, another example is look at pictures, right? I mean, there are, you know, Polaroid, Kodak, you know, these are companies that had an opportunity to pivot towards a digital file, but they decided, no one is ever going to not want to have an actual picture, right? I don't know about you guys, but I don't really have any photo albums except maybe at my parents' place, you know, of like old stuff. Like, I have all my stuff on my phone, right? So when you think about scratch tickets, like that hasn't advanced at all. And wouldn't it make sense? You know, I was looking again, this is this was from Forex, you know, that the first DeFi scratch ticket model, each ticket is an NFT that you can buy and interact on our platform, scratching it to see results. A percentage of the funds. All right, you guys know all about that. Scratch tickets are an extremely successful and popular model, and no one has done it yet in crypto. Clearly, he's right. It is a very successful, popular model. People dropping 80 billion on it last year. I mean, you know, it's also a perfect use case for NFTs. So I want you to think about something real quick. Okay, like when you think of what cryptocurrency is, if we break it down more to what blockchain is, right? Blockchain is what the internet was of last century is what it's going to be to this century, right? So to describe the internet would be a transfer of information like that, right? That's what the internet really is. Okay, the ability to get information at such a you know, faster pace than it had ever been done before. Well, what is blockchain? You know, it's a lot of things, but if we just simplify it, right, it's the transfer of ownership like that, right? The speed at which you can prove ownership over something. And it makes perfect sense that, you know, the scratch tickets would be in an NFT, and no one's done that. And he's doing that. And of course, he's going to be introducing it to the Drip platform and Animal Farm for us to do, and for people that are already in the know. But he is talking about, I forget how he said it, but in my term, like licensing it out to other platforms to start doing it, with the agreement that a portion of the revenue generated that other platforms may use are used to buy Drip, which then of course gets sent to the tax vault. This is huge. I mean, talk about a way of really adding a deflationary mechanism. I mean, I know that it's been talked about, people have done videos on it. I hadn't really given it enough like thought yet, you know, and I love thinking about the future of things and how blockchain is going to change things. And I love you know, kind of visualizing that, but I just, for some reason, I hadn't really connected the dots yet of what this is going to potentially mean. This is huge. This is huge. And I'm curious to know what you guys think, you know, down below about, you know, the scratch ticket model and stuff like that. So another thing, just real quick, I thought this was kind of cool. So if you're new to drip or you haven't gotten into drip yet, I think that you're going to find this interesting. And if you're into drip, but you've been just kind of like watching the price go down and you haven't put a ton in or anything like that. I saw this, there it is, this Medium article, which I thought was pretty cool, by this guy, Fleming Arnott. He was going over the numbers and he just said, let's have some fun with the actual numbers of drip. So if you could afford to start with 50 drip, which right now at the current price would be about $1,000, and you compound your 1% interest every day, after 90 days, you would have 122 drip. Not bad. And he comes down, and now let's take a look at the situation. The situation would be in a year's time, 50 drip invested today, which is about $1,000, compounded daily for 1 year would be 1,889 drip tokens. Okay. At that point, you could switch to alternating between compounding and claiming your daily 1% interest. So you could claim 15 days a month. Let's see what kind of dollar amount we're talking about. Your investment would be producing over 18 drip each day in interest. So if you take that 18 drip times the $19, so the price it is now, times 15 days, $5,130 a month you would have. And you'd be making that every month, by the way, because your deposit amount would still continue to grow. That's what's, you know, that's what's amazing about drip, is when you put the deposit in, yeah, you can't get that initial back all at once, but the amount you deposited stays the amount you deposited. You can only add to it, grow it by compounding or adding more, and you continue to earn 1% off that deposit. And then he goes on to say, another year later, and you'd have over 11,000 drip tokens, producing over 100 tokens a day in interest. You'd be looking at this scenario: 100 drip times the $19 times 15 days equals 28,500 a month. That's not bad. He's correlating this to the ability to be able to buy your dream home if you put $1,000 into drip right now and the price stayed exactly the same as it is right now. Obviously, a lot of us in the community think it's going to go up, looking at these lottery tickets and the scratch offs as just one catalyst that could potentially move the price up. We're talking these numbers here and these numbers here would go up by quite a bit. So, I mean, if you're not in a drip, I'd like to know why. Obviously, I would imagine it has something to do with the falling price as it is. Please leave a comment below. Let me know your thinking. Let me know if you're eyeing it. Also, I'm going to leave my buddy address down below. So if you do want to join, I'll leave the instructions. You got to use a buddy address to join. Everyone does. And I'd love to have you a part of my team. I do airdrops, and I'm certainly available to answer any questions you have. So by all means, join with me. Would love to have you. So that's my little kind of spiel on drip today. Definitely exciting. I'll be interested to see how the rest of the week plays out with this sort of, you know, positive price action. I'm hoping that we have found a floor, and you know, it's going to be blue skies going forward. But we're going to keep an eye on it. This is the first day that we've started to see a reversal. We've seen a few of these before, and it hasn't mounted to much. But I really think with what's in the pipeline and what is around the corner, I mean, things are looking good. Despite the markets being down, we are looking really good right now. So let me know what you think down below. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think on drip, where you think the price is going. What do you think is the biggest catalyst coming for drip this year? Love to hear from you. I'll catch you guys on the next one.